Hi guys, today we're going to talk about the relationship or the things that go together with hundreds, tens, and ones. That's something we learned about last unit. We learned about place value. And also we're going to see how that goes with money. Okay, so let's just talk for just a minute about place value to remember what we've already learned. If you have a number that has 3 digits, it's got 3 spots or powerful spots. Okay, let's say our number is 128. We learned earlier in 2nd grade that this number can be broken into places. And the most powerful spot, the most powerful number will be over on the left. The farthest left spot is the hundreds spot. The next one over is the next powerful spot. It's the tens. And the last one is the weakest value, which is the ones. Okay? So when we read this number or talk about the number 128, we're actually talking about 100 plus 2 tens. 2 tens is the same as 20 plus 8. Okay? This is easy because we've been doing this for a while now. What I want to teach you today is the relationship. Relationship means things go together, they hook together, kind of like your brother and your sister. They're related, they're part of the same family, so they're together. Or maybe you might have a cousin, that's a different kind of relationship. You and your cousin are in the same family, not quite the same as brother and sister, but you're still related, you hook together, okay? Other things that have in math have relationships too. And so this hundreds, tens, and ones has a relationship with money and how we talk about dollars and cents. Okay? We've been talking about how if we have 128 cents, we could write it like this. Okay? 128 cents could be written just like this. Or we could write it in dollars and cents. $1, the decimal, that period or that dot tells us that we're done with dollars. Now we're going to, over on this side, we're going to talk about cents. And we know we have $1.28. Okay? $1 is the same as 100 because we know that there are 100 cents in $1. It takes 100 cents to make $1. So we only have $1. Then we also have 28 cents. We don't have another whole 100. We only have part 28. We'd have to get more before we'd hit another 100, and then we could turn that into 200 or $2. Okay? So when we talk about money, we actually can do the same thing with our numbers about their place value. Okay? So 128 could be broken into dollars and cents. So if we had 128 cents, we could say that 100 makes $1, and then this would be the cents part. What if we had a number which is the same as $1.28? The biggest value is right here, the dollar spot, which is also the hundred spot, right? This spot right here is the next largest valued spot, which is the tens. So when we're talking about having 28 cents, we're talking about having 2 tens. Could be 2 dimes would be how we're making those tens. Could be 4 nickels, and that's how we're making those tens. 5, 10, 15, 20, right? And then the next spot over is our ones. I'm going to move this here. When we're talking about ones, we know we're talking usually about pennies, right? So if we're talking about pennies, we're talking about less than 10, numbers smaller than 10. So we've got 8 ones here. I'm going to move these down one more time. We're talking about tens and ones. This one was hundreds. This spot right here was the dollars. And this over here was the cents. Okay? You can kind of see how it all hooks together. All right, now let's talk about an amount. If we had $1 and we only had 7 cents, okay? We're going to keep the most important part of our organization right here, helping us remember that hundreds is the biggest value, getting smaller as we go down if we're talking about just a number or if we're talking about dollars and cents, okay? So we said $1.07. If we have $1, we know, let's draw a picture of it, $1, and let's say we have 7 cents. 1, 2, 3, 4, actually let's draw those going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we've got $1.07. We need to figure out how we can write this correctly. So $1 means 100. We know that because we know the value of a dollar is 100 cents. So we can come over here to our chart and we can put 1 in the hundreds column because we have 100, which is the same as having $1. Okay, now we have 7 cents left. This is where we need to really think, okay? Let's move to the next place value. We were in the $100 place value, and let's move to the next one. Tens. Do we have enough cents to equal 110? 5, 6, 7. No, we do not have any tens. The only tens we have are inside of this 100, and we've already shown them by writing that 1 right there. So we have 0 tens. Now let's move over to that ones. The ones are telling us this change right here. Even if we used a nickel to show the 5 pennies, because a nickel is worth 5, we still would only have a total value of change that is less than 10. 5, 6, 7, right? So 7 is our total amount of change, or our amount more than 100 that we have. So we have to put 7 in the ones column, because we don't have enough to make 10, so they all go into the ones column. So if we had $1.07, we would write that $1.107. The other way to write it in the dollars and cents way would be to make our dollar sign. Let's move that nickel over here. And we'd write $1. There's our decimal point to separate the dollars from the cents. We still have 0 tens because we only have 7 and 7 cents. $1.07 is the same as 107 cents, and this might be the way the picture is shown. Okay, let's look at another one. The next number is going to be $1.01. Okay, 100 is equal to 1. 100. $1 is equal to 100, which is $1, and we only have 1 cent. Okay, this is our bill, and this is our change. We only have one little tiny penny. I'm going to put a P in him so we know he's a penny. Okay. Well, we don't have any tens because we only have 1 over here. So we have 0 tens and we have 1 penny. So this is actually 101 cents, which can also be written as $1 and 1 cent. Okay? A little bit tricky because you have to think a little bit differently about your money when you're writing it. Even if you have a nickel is not the same as a 10, but it can help make a 10. We're going to use the 0 in the 10 spot until we get 10 in change, okay? Once we get 10 or more, then we have to start using our 10 spot and showing it with numbers. But when we have change that is less than 10, then we're going to put a 0 in the 10 spot and then put the correct digit in the 1 spot to show how much we have.